Mike. Mike James, you're live before. You're on chatting before I even click the button. How you doing, Mike? Hope you're well, mate. Don't know if it had come up that I was about to go live and Mike was bang straight in there. Let's just quickly check on, make sure it's working, and I can get a quick, on YouTube, I can get a quick link out to the folks out there. And we're going to see, I think, something truly different tonight, guys. Something different. I don't know if you can call it groundbreaking. Others would, but we'll say, hey, my first goon within a minute has already said we don't like this. My first goon. Don't be a goon. Like the video, eh? Chris, how you doing, mate? Hope you're really well, Chris. How's Boston? It must be a little bit warm over there, mate. Let's just get a quick message out to the people in the Twitter land. Okay, up there. Give me a sec, guys. There's a few people come on, then we'll get into some agenda. So how hot is it, Chris? Must be in the 30s. So we're going to talk tonight, Thiago Almada, Harwood-Bellis. Let's just get his name right. And surprise guest. It's going to be a fun one. Let's see. Let's just let a couple of people know, because it's nice to let them know we're in the house. Let's get Cobby involved. I'll quickly get. No, there we go. And just get a couple more people involved, and then we'll get cracking, guys. Right, let's have a look at the messages. Yeah, Chris is boiling. Hi, Ray. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. Mukund, hi. How you doing? Ziffo, how you? I'm all right, mate. I hope you guys are all right. We love the goons. They bring the view. Absolutely. Hi, Cole. I hope you're doing well, mate. It's quite funny with the goons, because they come on to give their negative, you know, their thumbs down, but I get an extra view, so it's nice. Huh? They contribute to my views. Yeah, Chris must be boiling. Hi, Mukund again. Hi, Cobby, you're on already. I will send you a message. 22 is night, Chris. I mean, it's going to be 30. Is it 30 degrees in London tomorrow? 40 in Paris? Bonkers. Cobby, when will the journalists stop their hit stories? Never. Some money out of it. If there was, you know, did they talk about, was it Leeds? Did Leeds have a dodgy sponsor or a dodgy owner or something? They had a dodgy deal somewhere. A few column inches and move on. They move on because there's no money in Leeds, really. So they move on to, sorry, I'll just move this one, areas where there's money. Yeah, it's going to be a hot one tomorrow, Mike. Get your Speedos on. Spencer's and Mark. Hi, mate. How you doing? Hope you're well. Vidya, how you doing? You're going to be back on Wednesday. Safe trip back, Chris. Have you? I mean, I've not been following Liverpool that much. Have you won a game on the preseason tour? How's it been? You know, it'd be interesting to see your reaction to how Liverpool have played. And it'd be interesting to see who you play up front. Will you play Origi? Will Origi still be there? Video, why is Luke Bolton up? I don't know. I know Luke Bolton did say he had a niggle. He was a little bit injured, so he couldn't play the first game. And it might just be that it's not cleared up enough for him to play the second game. I'm hopeful that he'll play in Hong Kong. That's my idea. Blimey, Mike, you're doing me agenda for me. GZ Graft. Do you think we'll buy Dani Alves? I hope not. Cobby, I'm in love with Harwood-Bellis. Do you think it's time to give him a go, or do you think it's too soon? He'll get his go this season, Cobby. He'll get some Carabao Cup games. I'm sure of it. You know, I think Eric Garcia is probably still ahead. He's still ahead of him in my book. But I think Harwood-Bellis will get. You know, Garcia got, I think, 4 games last season. If Harwood-Bellis can get 4 or 5 games this season, you know, even a half an hour here or 20 minutes there, I think that's amazing for a 17-year-old. Yeah, I think he's got I'm not sure if he'll be in the squad. He'll be definitely take part in more first team training, and then really it's up to him and it's up to injuries and stuff. No merger. No. Well, Spencer's a mark. Spencer's a mark. There's a play on the words there. I will do a play on the words. Vidya Shakir, Harwood-Bellis surprise Pep and other coaches with his composure on the ball. Absolutely. He's like Garcia was last year. So Chris says, I don't take preseason seriously. Liverpool 2, Dortmund 3, Liverpool 1, Sevilla 2. All about fitness and nice run for the lads. Origi and Bruce have been brilliant. Maybe one of them might play up front instead of. Well, let's think about it. I mean, will Firmino? You know, well, we know Mane's just finished the Africa Cup of Nations, and Firmino. It's only a couple of weeks back he finished in the Copa America. So. Salah, okay, I don't know how far Salah got. I don't think he got that far. You know, could it be that you'd only have Salah? Would you take a risk with Firmino? So, Mike James, apparently we're looking at Umtiti. Barca wants 60 million. I don't know, Mike. I don't think we're looking at him. The way Pep's been talking about Harwood-Bellis, the way Pep's already talked about Eric Garcia, the way he's mentioned that Fernandinho can play at the back. We know that Danilo could play at the back. You know, I don't think we're going to get anybody. That's just my feeling. Joseph, yes, nice shirts. Football fan chat, I'll tell you who the surprise guest is if he actually comes online. He's not online. Spencer's and Max, I'll give you my email address, mate. Just check. So, I don't know what Joe Latibaudiere. Do I have to spell it for you? Latibaudiere. Latibaudiere. Oh, I might have spelled that wrong, but it's a bit closer than what you did, video. Put his name up properly. Latibaudiere. Well, Bernard's not in the house. I need Bernard to be in the house. Yeah, Ray, I'm not worried about anything. Let's just... I'm going to invite one guest on. Let me find him. Just give me a sec. Fingers crossed I've invited one person. I've never seen this yet, so let's just see if it works. Chris Rossman definitely won't be back for the first game. Most likely be Salah, Origi, Ox, Shaqiri. Oh, Ox is back. Yeah, I forgot about him. Evening, Didi, Emmy. Let's just go back. Make some... I'm not going to share my screen. You'll see all my stuff. I will not share the screen, mate. That's not going to happen. I don't think I'm going to watch Long's Football Fan Chat because I aim to be at games. I'm not there to video myself watching a game. I'm too into the game for that. and I don't think it's going to go down well with the people around you at the grounds. You know, I think it's too much of an undertaking, because if I'm doing like DT's vlogs, yeah, filming himself, well, after a game, I don't want to be editing that down from 90 minutes to 3 or 4 minutes. I want to spend my time talking to fans, so I don't think it's going to happen. We'll see. Yeah, well, football fan chat, it will happen. It will happen one day when I'm in London. Get your parents around. We'll do it. Don't need to bring me DBS. Bruce to play, but everybody seems to say he's done well. So the question is, I might as well ask the question, Chris, where will Bruce to play? Can he, if he plays a few games for Liverpool this season, how many is enough? Do you want to see him play up top, out wide? Let us know what you think about his qualities. Even though it's a Man City channel, we are interested in other teams and their players, especially from prospective challengers. Absolutely, Mukund. I want that chance to finish. We can arrange it in football fan chat. I'm in London right now. Yeah, I'm in London all week. I've not got a lot on. My kids are on courses this week. So basically, I'll tell you what, I'm free from probably 9:30 till 3:30. So I'm free during the day. Vidya, who'd my third choice? That's a tough. I might go with Grimmy because he's been at City longer. Football fan chat, just send me a message, mate. GZ Graphs, do you think Phil Foden's going to start this season, or do you think he's never going to go on loan? GZ Graphs, never. Phil Foden, I'm gonna say Phil. Phil Foden will never go on loan. Pep said that. He's never going on loan. Yeah, there's only 2 weeks left before the Community Shield, and then the transfer window for incomings will close the night before Liverpool. I think it's 5 o'clock the day before Liverpool play the first league game. For other games, I'm not. We'll see. We'll see. Football fan chat. I'm not keen on watching other people play other teams, but I might try it just to see if it's any good. But I'm not going to do. See, what I don't want to do is go down the higher tech route of green screens and everything else. That if I did, it'd just be for a laugh. I might do a watch along where you get some mates together and watch a game for a laugh. We'll see. Maybe a Champions League game. And it'd been great to do a watch along when Liverpool got beat 3-0 by Barcelona. So that's an idea. Remind me during the season and see if we do it, because I'll forget. Hi, Original Gunner. Hope you're doing well, mate. Foden is going nowhere. Yep, that's it. I'm going to stick to for now. I'm going to stick to doing what I do. If I get a little bit of extra time, I might do other bits and pieces. Like tonight, if I can get tonight to work, the guy's not here, so I can't do anything. Well, we'll talk about it, football fan chat. Not here. We'll talk about it in private. We'll work something out. Absolutely, Cobby. That's my idea, Cobby. I don't think that's going to stop. I just need a couple of fans to have a chat with every game. That'll work. But pre-season is pre-season. I mean, it means nothing. We had a bad start where we had 2 days of delay on our travel, and then we turn up on Tuesday to play a game Wednesday. It's certainly not ideal. Not ideal at all. And Pep said we're trying to sleep. They got jet lag. It's not been a great start to pre-season. But when our first team is out, we look very good. Yeah, we look very good indeed. Vidya, I think Alex Garcia might stay next season as he looked. The problem is, Vidya, let me just tell you, the biggest thing to check, okay? I'm going to tell you about Alex Garcia now. Because my feeling is he's going to go out on loan or be sold. It's my feeling. I'm just going to tell you for sure. Just give me a second. Unless I got my dates wrong, Alex Garcia won't be here next season. He'll be on loan or sold. That's my strong feeling. I might get it wrong. I'll have to do some bit more research, but that's my feeling. Yeah, Rebel. I mean, a watch along. You see, I don't watch people's watch alongs. I haven't got the. And to be honest, you guys don't see me sitting there slumped on my sofa watching a game of footy, and I can't sit still for 45 minutes. I've got to go to the loo, or I've got to get a drink, 2 or 3 drinks during a game. I can't sit around and watch a game of football for 45 minutes. Yeah, so I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. I might try it one day towards the end of the season if I can't get to a game, but I really doubt it. Cobby, I wouldn't worry. Chinese state media. So hi, Sea Dog. Hope you're doing well. It was Chinese state media. So rubbish. Yeah, the fans. A lot of fans at the ground. I've seen a lot of pictures from fans at the ground. They were really happy. Yeah, it's a Chinese state media for whatever reason. They've had a pop. Let's not worry about it. But I don't want to. No, why would we get rid of a player like Otamendi who's got experience at City? Get Umtiti. What if Umtiti can't settle? That's always my concern. You bring somebody here and they can't settle. We're left with 2 main centre backs. I'm not happy with that. Alex Garcia won't be here next season, Mike. I'm 98% sure of that. Hey, it looks like you've had a great time. You've had a great time, results aside, Chris. It looks like you've had a great time in America. Long. If we look like we're going to win, and if we're doing as well as the last 2 seasons on the pitch, we will just get it in the neck in the press. Rebel, they forgot. Yeah, absolutely. We're too. It's not our fault. Hi, Chris MNAK. Where are you from? Are you from Nigeria? Just a guess. Vidya Shakya. Arsenal playing well in pre-season. I haven't seen the Arsenal play, mate. Well, the guy I invited hasn't turned up. Let's go and try and find him. Well, South Africa. All right, Chris. Hope you're well, mate. Now. And well, if you speak Swahili, Jambo to Chris Emenike. Sea Dog, there is a rumor about. Let me do the Almada rumor then quickly. There's a talk of Almada City. We want to buy this kid from Bellis Sarsfield, 16 million quid. He's an impressive kid, but if we get him, yeah, I think he's all right because of because he's under 21. He could come to us, but I think the feeling is he's going to stay out on loan for a season. It might be we just get him before anybody else gets him, and before he gets too expensive. Mike Long's here. Right, let's try Mike. Find some. So Bernard's not here, so I'd have liked to have got Bernard on, but Adri Benabi, he looks very, very good. Just going to send a quick message. Oh, there we go. So, hi Zane, how you doing? Oh, come on. That's it. So, Chris, I'm hoping to get another forward in before the winter. Yeah, you lost Sturridge. So Firmino does need to be pushed. I've got a lot of messages coming through, but not the one I'm looking for. Hi, English Mastiff. How you doing, mate? Rob Beard, it is the Invisible Man. The invite has been sent to the special guest, and the special guest hasn't arrived. I'm going to try again. Give me a sec. Just give me a sec. Let me get this email sent. So what do you guys think? Harwood-Bellis, do you think that 17-year-old is good enough? Do you want to take that risk and not to get any of the centre-backs? What do you reckon? Right. Invitation sent again. Let's see if we get that. Let's see if we get that's working this time. Guys have been busy. Well, people still work. Let's go and have some quick hellos. I have no idea, Mike. I sent Bernard a message. I wanted to get him on tonight, but he's not here. English Mastiff, you've been working up. You've not been working too hard, mate. Bernardo Silva. I'm sorry, Mike. It's not Bernardo Silva. He's bottled it, Kaka-esque. I think he's not bottled it. Tried the link. We're not really here. Absolutely. I don't have any problems with our centre backs now. We looks like we've got 6. Danilo doesn't look like he's going anywhere yet, so we'll be all right. Hey, look at that video. City old boys doing the business against the bin dippers. Let's see. Should look at backup centre back. Well, original gunner, I said if we were going to get somebody, it's going to be somebody who's not going to play that many games. How many backup centre backs are out there who are going to be happy playing about 15 games a season? It's going to be difficult. So, you know, Company was different. He was a City player, City man. He had his injuries, but he knew he was going to get a reasonable number of games. Would anybody want to come and do 15 games a season? I'm not so sure. I don't think so, Rob. I don't. You know, City. Khaldoon said we do our business early. Now, an all-time great, no matter how his career pans out for me. He's rebuilt 3 clubs from scratch whilst leaving a lasting impression. Yeah, but you know, the last 18 months he spent a lot of money. So for all his guff that he'd quit football if he had to spend that much money, and he'd not do it. He'd do it the right way. The last season, he spent the big money. He spent 400 million quid in 4 years. It's not as if he's done it on the cheap. The new guest has been handled by... I think Thomas Cook are going to get it in the neck all season long. Anything that goes wrong at City, we're going to blame Thomas Cook. I've been doing that straight away. We got Mangala. Mangala will be gone. We're not going to sign Mbappe unless we buy him and loan him out again. And you don't buy Mbappe to loan him out. Hi, Robert. How you doing, mate? Mike, is it a big season for John Stones? Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. In every season, look, it's a big season for everybody because you don't perform, you're out ski. You're not, there's somebody else waiting to come in. Video. I put it in capitals. I put it in capitals for your video. Gordon, Mangala won't get in because we've got 17 non-homegrown. There's no space for Mangala. I agree, English Mastiff. I absolutely agree with you, English Mastiff, that we do need, that we don't really need anybody. Let's get something sent. Let's go back. Just going to send a message out, guys. Just want to see if this works, because for some reason it's let's have a look. Let's go back to messages. Hi, Bernard. Hope you're well, mate. Robert Lang. Bernard's here. Yeah. Let's go down to the messages. Well, there's only me at the moment, just waiting for a couple of people to come on. So, guys, check your inboxes. There's a couple of guys I've sent invites to. Yeah, Vijay, it would be absolutely daft. I'm surprised. You know, we thought we'd extend his contract to sell him, and if we have to get rid of him on a free or pay half his wages while we send him somewhere else, absolutely daft. But hey, you make mistakes. Bernard's not coming on tonight. Is anybody coming on? Well, I thought we were going to have something crazy tonight. And it ain't happening. That's a massive shame. Well, let's keep chatting then. Looks like none of my two guests are coming on. Don't worry, guys. I've been the guests are not able to click in. Somewhere in the background in StreamYard, it's not clicking in. Mukund, please. This is a family channel, Mukund. Yeah, sorry, guys. I had natural logarithm. How you doing, mate? I'm really sorry. I was hoping to get two guests on tonight, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen. Links have been sent, but you just get I'm just getting a reply that it's just a loading message. It's not working. So sorry, guys. That's an absolute. It's a bummer, because I thought it was going to be another special night. Well, the two guests would have been Bernard and Mike Long. Mike Long is in the house, guys. You know, a late 40s guy, big City fan from Ireland, growing up at a time when City were crap. I know the feeling, Mike. Going to school where most of your mates were Reds, either of a Man United or a Liverpool persuasion. And they used, even some Arsenal fans, they used to take the mick out of us all the time in a big way. And it was never fun. Wow. Oh, my missus made me this lemon tea. It's not my cup of tea, so to speak. Nasrik Abdi, if Tottenham don't win a trophy, it's a failure, in my opinion. Well, it's funny, you know. Apparently, Pochettino said if they'd won the Champions League, he'd have left. He'd have left Spurs if they'd won the Champions League. If they don't win, look, let's be honest, it's very, very difficult for Tottenham to win a trophy. To say that'd be a failure for Pochettino, I don't think so, because that's doing a disservice to what he's achieved and what City are. Yeah. So for Pochettino to win the league, he's got to be breaking the bank to get 98, 100 points. Not many teams have got even 90. So, you know, it's a City just a level above. To win a cup, still very difficult. So I don't think you can really criticise Pochettino. I think he's done pretty well. Well, this is served hot, mate. This an English Mastiff, and it's not nice. Oh, football fan chat. I've sent the link again. Don't worry, mate. I do try. I don't think Bernard wants to come on now, but Mike keeps saying loading for him. I sent it in 2 different formats to work. It's just the way it is. Well, Chris, that's really all they can hope for. You know, I think they are knocking on the door. They're knocking on the door, like the Champions League. They're knocking on the door. They got a final this season. Other cups, they've been knocking on the door, getting to the semis or quarters. I think they'll follow the lines. Soon they'll get to another final. And yeah, you get to a final, you've got a chance of winning it. I don't know how to do that, football fan chat. I've tried various different things. Just can't get them on. Now, I've done the invitation and it's not working. It's not working at all. So I've tried the MCFC. I love the Blues. Manx, great people following City. 1975. Wow. 1975. So about a similar time to me. I think I was about 73 off the top of my head. I was about 5 to 6 years old. Yeah, Vidya Angelino will be 3rd choice. Well, he'll start next season as 2nd choice because Mendy's still injured. But as soon as Mendy's back, I think Angelino will be. Look, I'm not worried about Angelino being 3rd choice, to be honest. Absolutely, you know, it's another one. He's a young kid. He'll just take a bit of time. So the only message I get, let's have a look. What you're entering a broadcast studio, and it says loading, and it never loads. There's no other way that I can football fan chat. Yes, here we go. Bernard's on. Let's get Bernard on. Hey Bernard, how you doing, mate?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm not too bad, mate. We're trying to get Mike, but I don't, because I thought we could have a threesome tonight. You know what I mean? Not that way. Not that way. With Mike as the sausage in the middle. He's the youngest one, but no, Mike's supported City for I think over 40 years as well. You know, he's been through the thin times as well, supporting City. I was really hoping to get the 3 of us on. And I think last time, I mean, it was a great evening where a lot of reminiscing taking place about the past. So I'll ask you a question. Let's now this is off the top of my head. Let's ask a question. So for Bernard, who's your favourite player ever? Ever? You go to Colin Bell?
I'd have to. Yeah. Can't really. Yeah, I mean, I think the Bell leads some of me, obviously, but that's my sort of peak of being a kid and appreciating what they did for the club at that time. But I mean, the last 10 years, obviously, we've come up with a few new names, haven't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, on the stream. And I've got to ask you, who's the player? And it's hard to say this, and I don't know whether your emotions go as far as this. But in the last 50 years, is there a player at City that you've actually hated, despised, really disliked?
No, I think there's been players that were sort of overrated that have come, and I think what was all the fuss about, but we tend to get players at the end of the careers. I remember Clive Allen coming and thinking what a total waste of time he was when he came.
He's got a few goals for us, didn't he?
Well, he did, but he had a great reputation, and he wasn't very good. So I didn't hate anyone. I just felt a bit let down sometimes, I think.
I met Clive Allen. I did an interview with him last year. It was very nice. I'll say this back. A funny thing that when you interview somebody, you think, "Wow, I've interviewed Clive Allen." I think had we just played West Ham or whoever he'd played for them as well. And I thought, I've just interviewed Clive Allen. This is going to be a great video, and nobody wants to watch Clive Allen. I was shocked because I thought he played for more teams.
No, underwhelmed rather than hated. I don't think I've ever hated a City player.
Well, English Mastiff's given us one that. Is it Danny Mills?
Yeah, again after the event, isn't it? Yeah. That's the problem. It's when they've left City. It's when they've left City I've hated them. I don't think I've hated anyone while they've been at City, but yeah, there's been one like Niall Quinn had a bad phase, didn't he? Where he thought was slagging us off all the time. So yeah, there are one or two. Yeah,
I think there might have been players we disliked at the time that they were at City, either because they were bobbins on the pitch or bobbins as people. They were not nice people.
No.
You know, either took City for granted, you know, took the mick out of us. Like, I mean, we got here Robinho, you know, the way he came and he exploded onto the scene, and then in the end he was like, you know, it's like a damp squib. Or Tevez had his ups and downs.
That's when we were just paying money for the sake of it, though, wasn't it, to make a point? So you're going to get the mercenaries at that stage. Yeah.
Let's have a look. So I think Ray Barlow saying Jed Brannan. I actually was the only player I thought was. How can you say, Ray? I will say this, Ray. I can agree with that. Jed Brannan might be bobbins. He might have been rubbish, but the only one. Are you going to honestly tell me he's the only one at City? There's been a few that have been rubbish.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of rubbish, but not that you hate them. It's not their fault. The rubbish, was it?
Yeah. No, there's some great. I mean, there's some people that you were surprised we got them. There was that. Oh, I'm trying to remember his name. Oh, I forgot his name now. The guy we got from Portsmouth, who scored in the derby, with just flicked his head, and he used to go like this.
I can't remember.
What's his name? Benjani.
Benjani, right? Yeah.
Benjani, another one that we got, and you think. Well, Sea Dog's giving us names: Javi Garcia, Jack Rodwell. But I didn't hate them. I didn't hate them. The thing about Tevez was he gave you everything on the pitch. If you managed to get him on the pitch, he give you everything. He'd fly over.
My son Mark, Tevez. If you mention Tevez to him, he hates him. He does hate him because how he treated City. You know, he totally went. And I said, well, yeah, but when he's on the pitch, at least he does it for us. But he just fell out with him when we had that trouble with him. He just said that was it now. So, yeah, if you said to my Mark, if you hate a player, it'd be Tevez. He'd say Tevez.
That's the thing. The one thing that I remember a lot about Tevez, he'd fly over during the night or something. I think he'd even land in the morning and play a game in the afternoon. And there'd be nothing wrong with him. He'd be buzzing. He'd be at it. You know, it's unbelievable. Let's have a look. Joe, Robert Lang is mentioning Joe. Joe was a flop. I didn't hate him.
No.
I just thought. But the
thing players is, I wanted did you like when Fowler came? I wanted to dislike him, but how could you? You couldn't dislike him. You couldn't. Yeah. Because of who he was. I sort of quite liked him while he was there for how many 10 or 15 games or whatever he played. I can't remember. Apart from that penalty miss in the last game of the season when we could have got in Europe. But he was someone I didn't want to like, but obviously I did, and Schmeichel as well. I didn't particularly want to like Schmeichel, but he did the job, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he did the job. Even I'm not going to go as far as Kanchelskis, but the people did the jobs. Andy Cole, when he came, I didn't dislike him. You know, you're not happy in some respects that he'd come from United, but we weren't great at the time. So you're actually quite happy that you'd got somebody. I mean, it is like that where we were happy to get some of their dregs because they were better than what we had already.
Yeah.
But did you used to do like I did 10 or 15, or at least 10 years ago? When we got a new player, I'd get the old YouTube out and watch. And when I saw Joe playing, he looked great. And it's stuff like that. And then you see me in real life and think, oh, what's going on? And it's from that moment I said, anybody can look good on YouTube.
Well,
Anybody. Don't trust
some players are actually bought based on a 5-minute video on YouTube by some clubs out. Let's be honest about it.
It's crazy. I mean, remember that Souness got that guy who was supposed to be George Weah's cousin or something based on a phone call or something. Crazy. I mean, sometimes people do all sorts. How could you get somebody and actually not see him play? He hadn't, and actually play him in a game.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
anybody else?
Let's have a look.
Guys? Anyone else who've not liked, or there's plenty of players I hated who didn't play for City.
Let's name one. Name the Liverpool, because there'll be more. Name 3 Liverpool players you've absolutely despised. And that question is to Mike Long.
Oh, guys, can you hear me okay?
Well, before we get on to this, I've got to ask you, which do you prefer? Do you prefer it side by side with Bernard in the sausage in the middle? Do you prefer it like that? Do you prefer it like that? Or do you want it?
I think the one that minimizes me the most, you know, I've got a face
That's
for
a
the
good
radio.
idea. Yeah.
There you go, Mike.
Yeah, guys, the way that I made this work was just coming off the desktop computer and using my cell phone. And I think that's worked.
I think everybody's used their phone so far. I think that when you use your phone, you end up...
I think I'm the odd one out.
You can't see the messages. Hey, Men in Black. Men in Black. You can't see the messages, but...
No.
but
can't see a bloody thing. Well, never mind the messages.
English Mastiff said, side by side, you look like convicts.
The 3 amigos.
And then, so Buckland's asking, Bernard, did you watch the moon landing live?
I did. Yes. I was there. I fell off the bottom step.
was
it for Bernard?
Was it Buzz Aldrin said he was the first man who wet himself on the moon?
Probably.
Here we go. So Ray Barlow says he can't think of 3 Liverpool players that he's liked. So let's flip it on its head. We'll start with Mike. Can you give me 1 Liverpool player you've despised, hated, with a passion?
Yeah, I think, you know, when I was growing up as a kid in the 1970s, we were usually getting beaten 3 or 4-0 always by Liverpool. And the one that I hated the most was Dalglish, because when we were kids playing soccer, football behind our houses, every time one of those little buggers scored, they would scream out Dalglish. And on the few occasions that I scored, I would shout out Peter Barnes, but nobody knew who Peter Barnes was.
Gordon Brown.
It's definitely got to be Dalglish, guys. For me.
So there's one. Dalglish is in the house. Gordon Brown says McManaman is hated now. English Massive hasn't got a nice word to say for Peter Beardsley. And Original Gunner saying Bernard is funny. English Massive saying Fowler wasn't bad. So Bernard, you've had a bit of time to think. Can you think of a Liverpool player you've really hated?
I'm going to shock you here a little bit, because to be honest with you, up to the last few years, I've never really disliked Liverpool players that much, because they were the ones that used to, a lot of in my youth, used to stop United winning things.
Yeah,
so I was pretty chuffed, to be honest with you, that they were about. So I never really disliked anybody of theirs.
Even now, you've not. There's no one on your list.
No, I just hate the fans. The fans, but the players, not particularly. No.
Okay, so then I'll have a pop. Manaman is up there just because his whiny voice now, and the fact that he played for City, but he doesn't like City at all, and you know, you feel like City could be playing anybody, and Manaman would want us to lose, even though he played for us. And sometimes you feel that way with Niall Quinn as well.
Yeah. Carragher. About Carragher is obviously another one.
Carragher's very high up my list.
Yeah,
Carragher very high. But I'm also considering one of the top 3 defenders in the world, like Lovren, just because of his mouth. Carragher's got to be high up there. Virgil van Dijk hasn't been there long enough for me to hate him as much as Carragher. So that's my shout, Carragher. And I'm going to give Mike...
Guys, you haven't mentioned John Aldridge, because he's the one that's slagging us off all the time in the newspapers and bigging Liverpool up.
Well, we wanted 3. Bernard gave us none, so I was going to go back to you and let you give us one more. And your vote is John Aldridge.
I'm a closet Liverpool fan.
So it's got to be Dalglish, Aldridge, and it's got to be Steve McMoneyman, Mr. Point-a-lot.
Yeah. Spencer Max says Jason McAtee, but I think McAtee is just stupid. Whereas the others, you think Jason Mack is a bit stupid. Whereas the others, they just, for whatever. McAtee hasn't got 2 brain cells to rub together. Let's have a look what other people are saying. Best guess we've had at City was Ian Bishop. We've had Shanks. Didn't we have Shankly? Did Shankly? Who's played for us? Liverpool players that played for City. Liverpool managers.
Paisley?
I think Paisley. I'm trying to remember.
That's a very good question, actually. I can't think of that many.
Keegan.
I like Keegan.
Steve McMahon.
I like Steve McMahon.
Yeah, Steve McMahon. Yeah. Couldn't hit a barn door, could he, when he played for us?
Apart from Steve McMahon, can you think of another Liverpool player that played for City?
Well, there used to be quite a few, Did Joe Fagan play for us?
Fagan, that sounds familiar.
To remember.
The guys can look on Google.
Guys, we need Colin Savage here. He's old, as old as Moses. He could know that.
Who's that? Colin. Oh, Colin would know.
Colin Savage. Colin Savage would know the answer, wouldn't he?
I'm going to give you some names now. Just give me a few seconds. You guys have a quick chin wag, and I'll give you a name. See, people don't know. I'll give you some names, okay, of people who played for us that you might not have heard of. Joe Fagan, he played for City.
Yeah.
Don Revie or Don Revie.
Oh, yeah, we know that. Revie,
of course. Yep. FA Cup final hero.
Yeah. So it was Fagan, and I think that's it.
Before the guys say anything, I actually didn't see Don Revie play for us. Before anyone says anything, I'm not that old that I saw Don Revie play.
Ray, you are the king of Google. You're finding this out on Google, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm having a quick shift on Google, but I can't find some of the obviously Matt Busby from United played for City. People forget that, and he didn't play a little bit. He played 8 seasons at City. 227 games. It's so easy for people. I'm not looking at all the names. I'm just looking at a few names just to pick out, 1 or 2 major players for City in the past. There'll be others there that obviously I've not looked on my. One of the problems with Wikipedia, they have lots of different lists, and it's hard to find everybody. But
I think most people would think of Steve McManaman and Steve McMahon. Peter Beardsley, maybe? Peter
Beardsley played for us, yeah. Obviously, Sterling, Bellamy, Milner. These are Didi Hamann. Oh, Didi Hamann. Oh, no.
Legend. Here's that to think
look
of.
I'm asking Mike to play the guitar. Not tonight. Anelka played for both. I'm just looking at what other people have said. People said Anelka. Steve Redmond. Don't remember him
play
at
for
Liverpool.
Redmond?
I can't remember.
He was a Scouser, but he didn't play for Liverpool, did he? Steve Redmond?
I don't know.
No, I don't think
He's in our youth team. I thought he came up through our youth ranks.
I don't know. I'll give you some names then. Let's have a quick look because now I'm on Google. Obviously, we've had Robbie Fowler, Craig Bellamy. I'm just looking at one particular list.
David James.
Yeah, Jambo James. So who else? There must be. Look, in times gone by, there'll be loads of people. We just can't. You know, some of us are too young to remember.
That's true. Like me, yeah.
But I think we've probably got most of the ones in recent times. But I will give you a couple more names. I'm now on the Times' website. Nigel Clough.
Oh yeah.
Mario Balotelli.
Yes.
Daniel Sturridge.
What was it? Daniel Sturridge, yeah.
Albert Riera.
I thought it was from Liverpool to us as opposed to us to Liverpool.
Yeah, these are just players who played for both. This obviously Kolo Toure. But I was hoping to find a Liverpool manager that played for City, but I think the only one I can think of is that Joe Fagan.
Yeah,
that's the only one that I can quickly find. Hey, Ray Bowler saying nice to see you got that Vinny no shirt on. I think it's no shoot on, no shoot shirt. I was wondering what you'd written them, Ray.
You can order this from Don Grant, or you can find Don Grant on Twitter. It's a very good price, and yeah, it's a great T-shirt to get.
So, guys, let us know: is this stream working well in terms of quality of the actual stream, quality of the content, what we're talking about? You know, I think that when we get people on, it's best to throw us out a decent question, and then you know, for us to chat about them. Thanks, English Massive. I think this is it's the way to go. You know, I mean, you guys, it's up to you guys to tell us if it's, you know, is it going to be more fun?
Muckun wants to know who's the most useless player.
Useless. Oh, we've had plenty of them, mate. Yeah, I was going to say it could take a long time. I don't think we're going. Jeff Lomax. This is going to go for ages. But no, I mean, so this is a different way to do things. When having people on, doing it live, obviously there's the element of risk that the stream goes down or someone says something a little bit injudicious or whatever. But also, yeah, I don't know what it means. Yeah, I've got to check the dictionary. Oh, the dictionary is there. The dictionary is Mike. He's a professor of English, so he's the lexicon genius in the house. He's the word twisterer. So Collie's asking, most memorable game you went to and why?
Oh, I think for me, I left the UK at a kind of an early age. So for me, it would have been the I don't remember, guys. My memory is so bad. Either the quarterfinal or the semi-final of the 1981 FA Cup run. No. I'll tell you what it was. Do you remember the game against Everton in the 1981 Cup run where Paul Power scored the goal?
Yeah.
Bernard, you remember that? Was that the quarterfinal or the semi-final?
Quarterfinal, yeah.
Quarterfinal.
Was that a replay?
Main Road was a replay. We drew 2-2 at Everton.
Yeah, that's the last game that I saw live before I, couldn't afford to go to games and cleared off to Japan. And
that was an amazing night at Main Road. Amazing, the replay night. Yeah.
Paul Power was a wonderful player. It's hard for me actually to envisage his best position. I know that a lot of people say left back, but you know, for a left back, he could get into very, very good scoring positions, couldn't he?
Yeah, he was a utility player, wasn't he, rather than a left back? He was more midfield as well.
Yeah, yeah.
That I'm just looking up at that game against Everton in the replay, 11th of March 1981. Look at it. I mean, we won 3-1. We only had 52,500 people there. I mean, we've never had any fans.
There's probably more than that. It was absolutely chocker that night.
Well, if that was the time of Peter Swales, we probably had about 70,000 there.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
So let's go.
I don't think my feet touched the ground that night in the Kippax. You didn't. It was just absolutely cram-packed.
Let's give you some names then. I'm going to give you some names. Joe Corrigan.
Oh yeah.
Ray Ranson.
Absolutely. These guys were all these guys were all posters on my bedroom wall.
Bobby McDonald.
Yeah, he was signed by was it John Bond?
I don't know who signed him. Yeah. He came in 1980, so it might have been John Bond in 1980.
John Bond. No, the thing is John Bond brought in 3 Scotsmen and Bobby McDonald, Tommy Hutchison, and Jerry Gow.
There you go.
And he brought those guys in to augment Malcolm Allison's kids. And if you remember, Malcolm Allison tossed out all our heroes, you know, Dave Watson and Asa Hartford, Peter Barnes, and he basically wanted to show everyone that he could win something with kids.
Yeah.
But when that failed, of course, John Bond came in and he saw the potential of these kids, but he decided to augment that youth with 3 or 4, you know, veterans, and those 3 Scots guys, those were the ones he brought in.
Well, Jerry,
so we had
Jerry
Bobby
Gow,
McDonald.
Jerry Gow went to Wembley. He's the only time I actually made a banner for Wembley in '81.
Jerry Gow.
It was Jerry Gow eats a cockerel and 3 shredded wheats. It took me weeks. So that's the only time. The last time I ever did it, but that was the only time I ever did it.
I'll go through the rest of that team. We've got Nicky Reed, Paul Power.
Yeah, very, very good fullback.
Yeah. Tommy Caton.
He unfortunately, now Tommy Caton is one of my big heroes, Ray, but unfortunately he went on after City to Arsenal and he actually drank himself to death.
Yeah.
He actually died from alcohol poisoning.
Real shame. We had Dennis Stewart, Jerry Gow.
Yeah.
Steve McKenzie.
What a goal he scored in the replay, guys.
Yeah. Tommy number 11, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Kevin Reeves, who was signed by John Bond from Norwich, actually, at that time, yeah.
Did you say Roger Palmer?
No, Roger Palmer didn't play. Roger Palmer weren't there.
There was also Dave Bennett, I think, was on the bench, maybe.
Yeah, David Bennett, yeah.
And the goals were scored. Bobby McDonald scored 2 goals, and Paul Power.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah. And do you remember in that cup run, Ray? We actually beat Norwich 6-0. I think it was the game before the quarterfinal. Bernard, do you remember that?
6-0 Norwich. Yeah.
That was in the was that in the 4th round? That was in the 4th round.
Something like that.
Isn't that when we played Crystal Palace and Malcolm Allison that the same year in the 3rd round?
That's right.
Just trying to look.
And that whole that whole transition from John Bond to Malcolm Allison, you can catch that on YouTube. There's a wonderful 6-part documentary.
Called City.
Yeah,
City.
Yeah, we beat Palace 4-0. We had about 40,000 there. I mean, look at this cut run. We beat Palace 4-0. Yeah, with about 40,000. We beat Norwich 6-0 with 39,000. It's not bad going, is it?
I went to every home one. I didn't get to Everton away, but I got to all the home games.
So we had Peterborough United away, and we beat them 1-0 with a goal from was it Tommy Booth, and then we carried on with that Everton that we talked about, the away 2-2, and then we beat them 3-1 at home. And who can remember the semi-final then?
Oh yes, that was good.
I'll give that to you, Bernard.
Yeah, I mean, it was tremendous. I mean, it was the first. I mean, I've been to League Cup semi-finals, but that was obviously the first FA Cup semi-final. And I think Villa Park, I think we had at least 2/3 of the ground was City fans. It was a bit like City against Chelsea in the Charity Shield the other year. It was like we seemed to have more of the ground than Villa, Ipswich in the semi-final. And it was just
Bobby Robson's Ipswich.
Amazing.
Yeah, Bobby Robson. 10 years since he passed, Bobby Robson. You know, I remember because I was watching Pep's press conference the other day, and someone asked him about Bobby Robson. You know, 10 years.
Lovely fella, lovely guy, wasn't he?
Oh, Bobby Robson. Bobby Robson was hi, Bill, ABC TV. I just gave a few highs. Bobby Robson was a lovely guy. You know, you
just couldn't dislike him, could you?
Yeah.
No matter who he managed, you couldn't dislike him.
And what was interesting, guys, is that when he was the England manager, the press, they basically, the FA told him that he wasn't going to get the job for another period, and so because he knew that, he made a deal to go to Holland. Yeah, and when it was then released that Bobby Robson was taking a job over there, then they all just jumped on him as a traitor. It was just unbelievable journalism, and things haven't changed that much.
No, still the same.
Look, journalists have got worse because we live in an age of clickbait media. If you can't get enough followers on Twitter or whatever, if you can't generate clicks onto your newspaper site, I mean, look at the Independent. They don't do a print version anymore. It's all clickbait and advertising and subscriptions or whatever. You go to Telegraph, you got to subscribe. It's all it was always about money, but in the old days, in the print media, you used to think that it was more than just that. You know, I remember every Saturday morning, my dad, you know, we were Telegraph readers, and my dad would get the Telegraph because it had the best sports coverage anywhere. You might not agree with the politics, but the sports coverage was second to none. Then we moved to the Independent. They had good sports coverage as well. And I used to spend 2 or 3 hours every Saturday morning reading the newspaper. It was just so brilliant. I mean, Chris Welsh is asking, so I'll pop this question to you guys. If there's any Liverpool player right now that you'd take from their team, who would it be and why?
Virgil van Dijk.
Agree.
Now, Ray, do you remember in the early stages of the Bolt from the Blue podcast when we used to have Walter Smith on, you know, and he made a very important point, and he said, do you remember when we sent scouts up to Celtic and and they looked at that Celtic backline, and who did they choose for us? Do you remember, Ray?
Well, we had, what's his name there? The guy who went to Lyon.
Now, at that, now the guy's name, Bernard will help me out. I think the guy's name has gone out of my head. But Walter said, "I would love to meet the scout."
Yeah.
That chose the other centre back and ignored Virgil van Dijk.
Well, no, he didn't ignore Virgil.
It was Boyata, wasn't it?
No. No. We sent the guy Jason Denier to Celtic on loan. And our scouts were going. Obviously, they were going to. I'm not sure if it's the scouts, but the coaches were going to watch him because that's part of the thing we do. We have the guys watching our players who are out on loan. And how come they couldn't notice that Virgil van Dijk was the real deal? And
well, they thought he was too slow. That's what they said.
I think they're too slow, to be quite honest. If I was from a Liverpool, I think there's only 2 players I would seriously consider. Liverpool fans tell me Alisson's better than Edison, So
No,
nonsense.
that's a joke.
Not the way we play. I mean,
No.
For us, our goal is the best. No other goalie would fit our scheme.
I tell you who I think you might consider as well, the fullbacks, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. Maybe Robertson, because we've been struggling at left back. He's there for, and that's what we want.
I think you're right. I think you're right, Ray. I think you're right. I think those two fullbacks are possibly better than our fullbacks. We know that Kyle Walker can't really put in balls into the box like either of those two can.
Yeah.
And of course, the only way that we're going to match them is if Mendy gets fit again, because Mendy is better than both of them when he's fit, because his ratio of crosses into the box that lead to goals are, he actually had 9 assists in 11 games before he got injured.
He's a great he's a great player. And what I say is he puts that ball into that area just in front of the keeper, and it's curling away from him. So the keeper either starts to come and then has to stop, or doesn't bother coming. But it's in the danger zone. It's a dangerous area. And it's just always, as Jeff Boycott, if you ever watched or listened to cricket, he talks about the corridor of uncertainty, where you just don't know whether to go forward or back, and that's the same for the keeper. I'll just go through a few quick points so the guys don't feel left out. So English Mastiff went to school with Roger Palmer. So what went wrong, Ian? Roger Palmer went on to fame and fortune.
Did Roger Palmer go to Wilbraham High School?
Yeah.
Because I think that's where he went, because some of my mates were at school near Roger Palmer as well, I think, at Wilbraham.
So Cole says he was at that semi-final against Ipswich. Mike James, he went to school with Danny Welbeck and Fabian Brandy. I've never heard of Fabian Brandy. Have you had a brandy, mate, Mike?
It sounds something like that you're going to drink, doesn't
it? Come on, Sea Dog. When I was a kid, my favourite player was Milan Baros. I tell you what, mate, if I'd have seen that at the time you sent it, I'd have put you in timeout. But you got away with it because it was a long time ago. Jared Winmow, as in the darts, man. You're all fake fans. I bet you all supported Chelsea before the takeover. Yes, you're right. 180, Mr. Winmow. Mukund, you notice Mike is the only guy on screen with a proper head of hair. He's the only one with hair, yeah. He's got more than...
Although, guys, it is fast receding, as you can see.
Yeah. The English Mastiff, I see Roger Palmer a lot now. Hey, EM, get him on the channel, yeah? I've got a lot of ex-players who want to come on the channel, but get Roger Palmer, because I remember Roger Palmer. He played for Oldham as well, didn't he, Roger Palmer?
Yeah.
After City went to Oldham. That all rings a bell. I always tell people, look, my recollection of the 80s is a bit hazy. I don't know why. 80s... I don't know why it's the 80s.
Alcohol.
You know?
I'll tell you something about that, Ray, actually. Ray, Paul Lake was very angry with that. Do you remember the portrait that was painted by the Australian artist?
Yeah.
And it was, and I think it was called The Dressing Room of Dreams. And he actually came on a radio show with Ian Cheeseman, and Paul Lake was the guest, and they were talking about this with the artist, and Paul Lake couldn't conceal his annoyance, and when the artist when Cheesy asked Paul Lake what he thought of that portrait, he said that it was very good, it was wonderful, but he was very, very disappointed that there was very little representation of City players from the 80s. Now, I knowing Paul Lake, he wasn't referring to himself.
No.
But there was very, very few players from the 80s represented there. But guys, they are being represented. They are being represented in a new poster, which is being created. Guys, you know the one about the footy mishmash. No. This is a cartoon of of Manchester City. And if you go onto Twitter and you type into the search box footy mishmash, you'll see that there's an artist who's currently doing a cartoon to represent Manchester City through the ages. And Paul Lake is finally in that one.
Yeah. The thing is that what I was going to say. So the artist was Jamie Cooper, and it was called The Dream Scene.
Yeah.
Because we got him, Andy got him on our channel last year. I'm happy to admit, I'm going to have a dig now. So I apologize up front. I'm happy to admit when someone else did something. Sorry?
I'm just saying, here we go.
And I missed that. I'm happy to admit when somebody has done something. And I was tempted to say our channel, we got him on, but I had nothing to do with it. So I had nothing to do with it. But I will say this, because I'm sure the goons aren't watching 1 hour, whatever it is, 1 hour, 11 minutes into this. So the goons have gone. So I'll say that, I'll whisper it, right? It won't get back to anybody. It won't get back to anybody. But there's a couple of times last season when Andy offered tickets to matches at the Etihad. And he said, I've got an adult ticket and a child's ticket and anybody can come. And I did think at the time, why can't you actually tell them the truth? Because they were my tickets. And I said, what? I said to him, can you find someone to, put tickets, my season cards, because believe it or not, Andy doesn't have a season card. He would go to matches on my tickets. So he'd put them out and he said, I've got these tickets available for this game. And he got so many nice comments and people following him and said, oh, that's a wonderful thing, what you're doing, mate. And I thought, just be honest about it. They weren't yours. Not that I'm bitter. I don't want to get that. I just want to get that. Odd things pop into your head every other day. And that popped into my head yesterday. Let's get back into football. I just want to get that in case the goons are still here. So Mukun's saying we're praising Liverpool players. Chris has done a good job. Robert Lang, do you think it's 4 trophies or a treble?
Treble.
Treble? Treble. I mean, it's a funny old thing because in other countries, something like Community Shield is considered a trophy because everybody had a chance to compete for it. It happens to be the only 2 teams. And to be honest, we should get the trophy by default. Because why are Liverpool there? Well, they won. They won now.
Yeah. But in all fairness, Ray, City used to play in the Charity Shield in the 60s and 70s, and we didn't even win anything. We just got invited to it most of the time.
Because we're a nice team, Bernard. We're a nice team. So Mike, let's have a look. EM says Roger Parr moved on to the same council estate in Sale 1972 from Moss Side. Mike James, Trinity High School in Hume. Danny Welbeck and Fabian Brandy. He's all right. Brandy didn't make it at United, but played for Swansea, Sheffield United, and Walsall. Mike's got a very good football knowledge. I'll give him that. Said it many times. Mukun said, I've seen them, the Footy Mishmash cartoon. It's amazing. English Massive, here's his question. Who was your best choice player to come through the academy over the time you've watched City? Wow.
Paul Lake.
Yeah, I'd go for Paul Lake.
Can't argue with that, really. In recent times, in the last 20 years, because some of these guys are only some of them about 18 years old.
Foden.
Yeah, it's obviously Foden.
I think
that was it. The 1986 FA Youth Cup winning team was packed with talent, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I think.
But Foden, I think, he's on a different level. I think, yeah. Bernard, don't you think?
I think if Foden makes it,
he's a standout, isn't he? Yeah. At the moment,
but I think he has to make it. He hasn't made it yet. I think that's the key. No. He should make it, but if he makes it, that's the guy. If it wasn't for him, I'm just thinking of players I liked at the time. Obviously, Sean Wright-Phillips, Johnson had it all. Michael Johnson had it all. I like Stevie Redmond. I like Paul Moore.
Probably Tommy Caton was a youth product, wasn't he, Bernard?
He was, yeah. Tommy, he was about the same time, wasn't he? Or a similar time.
He was one of my heroes. He was just gorgeous, and he was he was a blonde bombshell, wasn't he? And,
he had his I remember he had his afro, his big perm afro thing.
Yeah.
And if there are young City fans watching, you need to do some research about Tommy Caton. He was just wonderful.
Hi, Abiram. I'm just going to give some quick things. So Ray Barlow says Gary Flitcroft. I think Chris Welch's question will take us too long about would any City players get into the top greatest players in Premier League history. That's the kind of question where you need a lot of time to think. I think that would just be too much. Just having a quick look at my list of other topics. We talked a little bit about. I'll just recap. We talked about Thiago Almada, City potentially spending 60 million quid on this guy. Would he come and play for us this season, or go out on loan, or stay with his club? I mean, you're spending that much money. You want the guy to come over. Taylor Harwood-Bellis. The feeling is from everybody now that he's going to be part of the first team squad next season. Pep's been praising him.
Is Bellis tall, lad? I'm not seeing him yet. Is he
17?
Tall?
He's a defender. He's about 6'2", 6'3".
Oh, he's a big lad.
He's played in 2 of the pre-season games.
Yeah,
and what strikes you about him? He looks very, very similar to a young John Terry, I think.
Yeah, and Pep's praised him, and the feeling is that he'll be part of training. I've said earlier on the stream that, like Eric Garner, now if Taylor Harwood-Bellis at 17 can get 4, 5, 6 games, even bit part games, a little bit of Carabao Cup, 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, I think that's great for a 17-year-old. I'm sure people might have been interested that Edison played a charity game and he played in midfield.
Did he score?
Sorry?
Did he score?
I don't think he scored. But I'll just mention it because it's a quiet time and this is in the news. Yeah? I mean, it doesn't really matter. And another crazy story, I say it's crazy, and I might get slapped down for this, that Bayern Munich have offered us Alaba and money for Sané.
Well, I did actually joke on Twitter that if they offered Alaba and his 40 thieves, I still would say no.
I saw that. That was very, very funny. I laughed out loud at that one.
Sorry, man. I'm just writing it down. Wilson, Mike James, Robert Lang, for the emotional celebration of the goal, which did you, Bernard and Bolt from the Blue, prefer Company versus United or Company versus Leicester?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Can't separate those two,
I think for me it would be Company versus Leicester. I mean, that goal was... Vinny doesn't score goals like that. He nods them in from corners. So that was just... It was just such a shock, actually, to me, to see that goal. I mean, Bernard, have you ever seen Vincent Kompany score a goal like that?
No. I'm in the south stand, and as he hit it, you knew it was in as soon as he hit it. You just stood there. You didn't even shout. There was like a 2-second shock and then celebration, but you just knew.
Guys, T-shirt, woo!
I still think one of the funniest things is that guy walking off to the toilets.
Yeah.
I think goes in.
And the best of it was
Caton and Corrigan many years
ago. He walked up to the toilet, but I didn't see him turn around and come back.
Crazy.
That was the interesting thing, wasn't it?
You'd rush back, wouldn't you? If you heard a cheer, you'd rush back in. Yeah. So perhaps he was a Leicester fan, I don't know.
In disguise. Kamal says, if Pep doesn't win the Champions League, will people of other teams call him a failure? Absolutely, they'll call him a failure because they're looking for an excuse to have a pop at City. The tribalism has gone too far. I think I was talking to a fella on the train today, a really nice guy. I'll give a big up to Virgin because I had to stand from Piccadilly to Crewe. And I'll give a big up to Transpennine because their train was late. I got to Manchester late and my reserve seat was gone. A big up to the woman I'm just going to give some big ups now. Big up to the woman, because when I got on at Manchester, I sat. There's nowhere to. It was all up this train, so I went down the train and found a couple of seats. One was empty, and it'd been booked from Wilmslow. One seat, and the other seat was available. So I put my suitcase on one, and myself on the other. Then the guard come down. There were people still looking for seats. There were plenty of seats if you put the effort in. And he said to this woman, "There's the seat here," which is where I was. So I thought, oh, fair dues. I had my suitcase wedged in. A lot of people had their suitcases wedged in. So I had it wedged in front of the available seat. And I said, well, there's nowhere else for me to sit. I can't move my suit. I'll sit with my feet on the suitcase and my bum against the back of the seat. And the woman come along. It was this much over onto her seat. And she complained about my suitcase. And she said, I'm not standing up all the way to London. So I thought, okay, you know, she starts yabbiting. So I thought, I'll move my suitcase out the way to get rid of the case. And I had my rucksack with the computer and everything on there. And I left it on the seat. So I moved my suitcase out of the way. And I was pushing it down the aisle. She got me bag and wanted to give me bag, basically for me to vacate 2 seats for her. And I said, why? I said, that's my seat. And I'm keeping this. She was she was younger than me, but she's probably in her late 30s, early 40s. And I said, I'm keeping the available seat, the one that's reserved from Wilmslow. You can have that. Okay. And she started getting very, I won't say the word, very mardy, very, very mardy at me for telling her not to move me bag. Well, it's like, why are you picking me bag up? You know, I'm not vacating 2. It's as if she felt that the guard had kicked me off the train, or I was not allowed to be there. Anyway. So I was talking to this Man United fan. We were having a laugh at her as well. He was standing up. I mean, this is the thing. And then I actually remember I was chatting with him about, in the old days, he said, we'd go to United one week, City the next. He said, I'm a big United fan. My brother's a big City fan. We'd go to like both games. Now you could, I said, if you went.
It must be old. You must have been old to do that.
He's about 70. And he said,
yeah, because we didn't do it in my day, and I'm 60, but we never did it in the 60s. We just went to one or the other. Yeah,
but if you tried it now, you'd get battered. I mean, you'd be called all sorts of names. You know, and so, yeah, anyway, the end of this story is, and I said to the guy, I hope the person who's booked the seat from Wilmslow turns up and that woman has to move. And so someone did turn up and she had to move, which was very gratifying for me. But she was I'll say this, I'm going to have a bit of a rant at her. She was a real miserable also. There were a lot of people who'd got on somewhere else, I think at Stocky, and there was no space. And there was this old lady, I mean, she was. And I said, look, I've got a seat down there, sat next to this woman. I really wanted to sit next to her myself and give her, you know, sit there and fart next to her for 2 hours all the way down to London to get my own bag. But I said, you can have my seat. So I took her down. She got the seat and said, I've my seat. The other woman, she wouldn't get up to let her. This woman was there. So you had the grandmother, the mother, and the daughter. And this woman would not get up to let one of the other people, who was still older than her, probably in her 50s, sit down next to her aged mother. I mean, that's the lovely kind of people occasionally you get on the train. Anyway, that's my rant over.
Ray, do you know Ariel Castro from Man City, USA?
No, I don't.
But she's a big. She represents Manchester City in the United States, and she tweets a lot. I think that you do know her. She's a young blonde-haired lady. And,
oh yeah, Ariella. No, sorry. It was your accent, Mike. I missed it. Yeah, I spoke to her very early on last season. Ariella, very early on last season, when you started describing her, I thought, yeah, I thought you were going to give me some joke about some fat woman or something. I'm talking about this incident. I thought you were going to go on with that.
How we suddenly recognised when you said she was young and blonde.
The reason I'm saying that is that if you remember on Carabao Cup final day, I went down on the train from Manchester to London.
Yeah.
And I was with Joni, you know Joni from Twitter.
Yeah.
And she is. I can't remember her Twitter name right now.
Joni.
I think she's Northern Star. She's Northern Star. And I think that was the first time that, I haven't been living in the UK since when I told you, and went into the toilet on the train, and of course there's this person speaking to you, a recorded message speaking to you. You guys who use the trains will know this, that when you press the button and the door closes, there's a female voice that is kind of soothing you and talking to you. And this shocked me. I mean, I hadn't experienced this before. And it was the same for Ariel. She was coming from the United States, and she just tweeted about that, I think 3 or 4 times, thinking, "What the hell is this? What's going on? Why am I being talking? Why is someone talking to me in the toilet?"
The thing is, Mike, we all know, I'm sure, we all know that when that voice came over while you were in the toilet, you thought you'd pulled. You thought you'd... Let's just go down some quick comments. So Chris Welch has gone. CMA up. Yeah, good evening. English Massive says sell signed by Mbappe. Ray Barrow said Edison scored 2 goals. Spencer Marks says Clive Wilson, brilliant player for City. Jenny Sullivan's in the house. Sorry, it's taken me 8 minutes to answer you, Jenny. But Jenny's going to help us with that. Have you seen the video with Jenny? She's a big fan of the women's team, and she's going to be helping us out this season. That reminds me, I've got to call somebody tomorrow. We're just getting a group together, and I think I hope it's going to be a great, maybe something like this, where you got 2, 3, 4 people who go to the games, getting together to discuss the games afterwards. I think the fans will take to that the same way. I think people have enjoyed this. I think they'll take to that. I'm really looking forward to that. And Jenny has gone I think she's gone for the Vincent Kompany's goal against Leicester. English Master says, I was expecting him to pass that. I think he's talking about Vinny's goal. Mukun says Vinny's goal against Leicester. It was one of those moments that make you feel that it was just written in the stars. It was just meant to be for Vinny to win it for us. Mukun, big up the guy who gave Pep a lift after that parade. Yeah, the BBC cameraman who gave Pep a lift. English Mastiff, it was meant to be the Vinny goal. Kamal, has anyone seen the new City documentary yet? No, because I haven't got. I've got the CCTV app on my phone, but it won't pick up this thing yet. And I've got a smart TV in my room. I don't know if I can. I'm allowed to try and download the City TV app on this smart TV, or we'll get in trouble because it's a service department. I'm not sure. But have any of you guys seen it? I've only seen Vinny's speech for 2 minutes. No, that's it.
No access, unfortunately. No access over here.
Okay, let's have a quick look what else has people said. Spencer the Mac, how do the club view the fan channels? Do they watch? I don't think they do. I don't think they do, to be quite honest, because I think if they did watch, they'd probably be not happy with some stuff. And let's be honest, do you think the City's going to sit down and watch this stream for 2 hours? Or, no. Otherwise, they need a dedicated person to sit down and watch Ian Cheeseman's. I think they might watch Ian Cheeseman's because he's in-house. So someone will, I think, watch that just to see if one day Ian Cheeseman goes to...
I think, having said that, I think there's no reason why a club like City shouldn't watch these sort of things.
They should.
They're dedicated to looking at this sort of thing, and not just City things, but obviously other clubs as well.
I think when Blue Moon Rising was on, it was noticed because 2 of the guys, when Blue Moon Rising went down the toilet because they didn't get enough, they weren't getting any money, and the guy said, "Well, we're not doing it for free. We want to be paid," and there was no money. 2 of the guys went to City, worked on City TV. So because they were the only really ones, I think it was easier to watch. But now, if you want to watch, you got to watch. I think they'll watch Cheesy. They'll have to monitor to Cheesy. If someone's just doing something that one day he could go off on one, and if no one's watching it, it's out there on the City channel. And that just reminds me of a story on Birmingham. I'll just quickly throw this in, but Birmingham radio, they used to have. I think this is back in the 70s. They had these an Asian slot for about 2 hours or something, and it took them about 6 months to cotton on that what one of the guys was doing was because they didn't. No one ever said anything, and they didn't understand what they were saying. And I think it was a Sikh guy or a Pakistani guy, and he was just advertising for his shop. So they thought he was, he's playing a bit of music and he's chatting in between, but in between he was doing adverts for his shop, and he'd been doing that for months before they found out. Mukun saying my TV's not smart enough. Ray Barlow said it's similar to All or Nothing. But what I was thinking about the fan channels, so I think they watch Cheesy because they have to. He's in-house. Somebody will watch that or monitor it. But they can't spend, let's say for 3 videos a week for about 15 minutes each. That's manageable if there's only one channel. But if there's 4 or 5 channels putting out 10 hours of content a day or 20 hours a week or whatever, do you really think City are going to pay somebody 30 grand a year just to watch that? I think they have to take notice. And then if they like an idea, just nick it, which I'm sure they would do. If they like this, something like, they will take this idea. So I think they'll watch bits and pieces, but they just cannot afford to have someone dedicated to do this. If you look at some of the, like today, I've done 90 minutes here. Sometimes last week, I do a video in the day and a couple of streams, and that might be 2 hours worth of content. And then someone else would do an hour's worth of content. Someone else would do 20 minutes. Cheesy might do a podcast. I mean, I listened to his today. That's an hour. Do they go and listen to all the podcasts?
No, it's not of any great interest to them, I don't think. Well,
sorry,
fans like to do.
There's some fans like.
I will say something about Ian Cheeseman because I did a pod with him. I was in Manchester at the time that I was over with Ray watching the 6-0 win against Chelsea and also the Carabao Cup final. And guys, I was just in a coffee shop, sitting having a cup of coffee, and I put a tweet out, and I just said, guys, I'm just here in the Ardale Centre, I think I was at the time. I'm not sure if that's exactly correct, but if there's anybody out there that wants to come and chat about City, I'm here. I'm going to be here for 3 days. I'm from South Korea. And within about half an hour, I got a message from Ian, and he said, Mike, if you are available tonight, come and come on the pod. And I was just totally taken aback by that because, of course, Ian Cheeseman is one of my great heroes, one of everyone's heroes. He's been a City fan since 1970 when he was a 10-year-old. And a lot of people don't know about Ian Cheeseman. When he was a kid, he actually used to sell sandwiches on trains to be able to get to City away games. That's how dedicated he was.
That's the way to do it.
And, so he contacted me, and I was very curious about what was going to happen next. So I said, okay, I'm desperate to do this, Ian. Like, tell me, what should I do? And they actually do the pods in a hotel, which is quite close to Ancoats. And I didn't know where this hotel was, so I decided the best thing to do was just to get a taxi. And I gave the address to the taxi driver. It took me right there, went into the lobby of this hotel. And as soon as I walked in there, I just walked up to the reception and I said, yeah, I'm here to meet Ian Cheeseman. And they just said to me, okay, he's on the 4th floor or the 5th floor. I can't remember. And so I got into this elevator, went up to the 4th floor. The doors opened. And there he was. There was Ian Cheeseman, and there was the Prestwich Car Repairs. That's a lovely guy.
Prestige Car Repairs. Get his name right.
I beg your pardon. And there was also Harlan. and you know him, don't you, Ray? And
yeah, because he started on TV for one episode.
Right, and he might have made a good choice there, Ray. But we can talk about that. But
yeah.
But there was also a young lady there who was representing the women's team.
Was that Emily?
It wasn't Emily.
No.
It was. I've got to get her name right. I will get it right. But I'll put up a link at the end because she runs a site for Manchester City women's team, and we were just had a lovely time. Ian was an absolute gentleman. He was a lovely fella. He was very polite and gracious to everybody, and we all got our photos taken afterwards. And I've got to say that my respect for Ian Cheeseman, which was already quite high at that point, just went off the roof. He's a wonderful fella, a great man, and of course, he's trying to do something here which is not natural to him. You know, he was the BBC commentator on Radio Manchester for many, many years. So this is relatively new, I guess. And, you know, he's doing a great job. So I think that we have to doff our caps, Ray, a little bit to the dedication of Ian Cheeseman.
Oh, yeah, he's done 2,000 games. It's a lot of games. Let's go through some of these messages because otherwise people think, you know, we're 10 minutes behind the messages. But I'll go through them very quickly, guys. Spencer Mark, this is why I asked you about the club going away from the true fans. There is that feeling, and I've said it, other fans have said it, where the club are now the fans, the armchair fans, overseas fans, more than the local fans. They know they've got the local fans. They're not going to expand their organically the brand around Manchester or the UK exponentially. But in China and in Africa and in other places in Asia and America, they can. That's why we're touring in China. That's why we toured in China 3 years ago. That's why we toured in America for the last 2 years. There is that worry that money talks. I won't go into too much about the away tickets, but if you're paying, 10 grand a season for your tunnel club or whatever it is, you're going to get away tickets. And that's just the way it is. Money talks these days. Spencer Matt, City are unapproachable and don't care about the real fans. I've got to be honest. I sent City a message last Friday, I think, Thursday or Friday. I sent them an email maybe a day before that, asking them, which of their press officers I could contact, because as a broadcaster, I wanted to be able to ask them questions. And they said, this is, I wrote a couple of email addresses and said, this is the right, what they wrote back to me said, this is the one, we covered the men's and ladies, both from this press office. So I said, fine, they wrote to me, I'm sure it was within 20 minutes, they replied. I thought, well, this is going to be good. So on Friday, I think it was, or Thursday, when the news about the new away ticket situation came out, I wrote to them and said, can you put somebody up for me to talk to? I want to ask some questions. They've not replied. I wrote to them again tonight or today. They've still not replied. So they're like some of these journalists, yeah? When they think they've got a good point or it's an easy answer, let's do it quickly. And when it's a bit more difficult, they just run away. So anyway, let's go through some more of these. Kamal reckons the club would look at the odd video. Because especially as these channels get bigger and bigger, they'll want to pinch, I think, and copy some good stuff. When City, this is what Spencer Mark says, when City make videos, they don't really represent the true fans that have been going for years, and indeed some presenters are Southerners. I mean, people complained about, was it Hugh Ferris, and his questioning of some of the players at the parade. They were not happy about that. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. He's got a good reputation,
Hugh Ferris, I think.
Sorry?
He's been quite cheeky and sarcastic, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
People have complained about that.
Yeah. Do you guys think they should all be City fans? Is that the minimum requirement?
I think Hugh Ferris is a very, very accomplished. He's got a lovely voice. He's a great presenter. But I think I've got no experience, Ray. I'll maybe just throw this over to Bernard. But I have read, because I do follow a lot of City blogs and things like that, and certain City fans have said that he has been less than charming about the club. I don't know, Bernard, what do you think about it?
If you think about it, I mean, a really good presenter and someone who does this, it wouldn't matter who they supported, they do a professional job. And you don't let any personal element or anything come into it. I think probably Hugh Ferris does tend to get some little digs in, which make you think, well, obviously he's not being professional. So at least if they're not City fans, get someone who's professional.
Well, that's what I think. Be professional, or if you get a City fan, I think City fans would give a presenter who's a City fan, they'd cut them some slack. You know, for instance, if we and this City TV presenter went gaga instead of being professional, I think we'd cut them some slack, because we in that moment we might do the same. So I think you're right, Bernard. They're either going to be bang on professional or they're going to be a City fan.
Ray,
let's go through this.
Ray, you know who my favorite presenter is, don't you?
Well, thank you very much, Mike. Thank you.
No, I mean I don't mean you, Ray. Of course, you're the best. But what I mean is the people,
Natalie,
the people who are outside the stadium.
Natalie,
it's got to be Natalie. She's our supermodel. She's gorgeous, and she is a bona fide City fan who's been going for years and years and years. And I think she's absolutely. I love Danny Jackson. But Natalie is just wonderful. I think she's fantastic. I'm in love, basically. You guys actually, I remember, Ray. I remember you taking the piss, Ray, and saying that you promised me that you would get my program signed by Natalie, but it didn't happen on that day, did it?
And I'm not on speaking terms with Natalie. Nor with Danny Jackson. There's things that go on in life that I remember an incident with Danny Jackson from several years ago, which kind of really put me off him. I don't know. Let's not go into that. Okay.
What about Mike? Mike, who does it? The sausage guy.
Mike. Have you heard the news on Twitter today? Apparently, Mike Minay, who used to be, it seems to be Ian Cheeseman's announcer,
that was yesterday
on BBC Radio. Now I remember, because back in the day when Ian was doing the BBC radio show, Mike Minay was the guy who would come on and he would just introduce Ray, the guys who had phoned in, and he would just tell the listeners who had called in and what they had said. Now, there was a Twitter post yesterday. Ray, you would know this.
I know this.
He's now the official Manchester City commentator. Is that right, Ray?
That's right, for Radio Manchester. He's the radio commentator. And I actually spoke to Mike yesterday about this. And we just, I will say this, it's hopefully he'll get clearance. He's just checking with his bosses whether he can do an interview with this channel. So that was my discussion with Mike yesterday, to get the first interview with him in his new role, get it on our channel, get his story. It's the same, like Cheesy's got a backstory as well. So what's Mike's backstory and everything else about City? Let's try and get through some more of these, because we're still a few minutes behind everybody else. I know some people are not happy with some people call it progress, some people not. I mean, Spencer Mark says they asked this grime artist Bugsy Malone, who's a Red, to do the new Puma shirts. But Carl from America says this is not 1998, it's 2019. So it is a different stage. But as much as I see the new fans being excited to be involved with City and for City to go out there and do everything with them, I miss some of the stuff that we used to do. And you can say it's progress, but I said it earlier, I miss going to Oldham in a pre-season friendly. The local clubs who, besides us having the friendlies, we were they were making more important world community. And I think that's important as well. We can't forget, the clubs around us, that are part of our local football family. It's a very hard one to juggle. I do remember a few seasons ago what we did. I think we had a tour in America, but we had a game in Iceland as well. And then did we have a game in Ireland or in England? And that's what I'd like us to do. Go somewhere, have 2 or 3 games, come back to Europe and have at least 1 game locally for the local fans. Because let's be honest, going to America for a season card holder is difficult and expensive. Going to China and Japan is now an impossible. And I know it's important to cultivate these new fans, but pre-season, forget. I mean, how many City fans to throw on the other side? How many fans would go if we were playing at Oldham, for instance, tomorrow night? How many fans would turn up? 3,000, 4,000? I'm not sure.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. So you'd get decent numbers. I remember going to that Oldham game when it was absolutely belting it down. But I went for the ticket points. They're actually good because I think they give us a lot more points for going to this. It cost £5 that game, and you got 40 points. So I thought I'll have a bit of this.
Yeah.
Ray,
yeah.
Could I ask a question to Bernard?
Go on.
Bernard, you probably know about Ricky Hatton, and Ricky Hatton is quite famous for saying that he preferred the old days because there was more camaraderie. And even though that we were not good and we were terrible in those days, he actually preferred that atmosphere. I just wanted to ask Bernard, what did you think? What do you think about Ricky Hatton's comments?
The thing is, I think you just got to. I mean, it's global now. I think you just have to accept it. I remember the good old bad days, but at the end of the day, we're a global team now, and we just have to move on and accept this is going to happen. And I don't think there's very much we can do about it.
Yeah. I think in the old days, the football. A lot of people have said this. The football was kind of incidental. It was the day out with your mates. You could, for guys especially, it was your excuse. It was your excuse to leave indoors, or whatever. Leave the kids, have a day out with your mates, get razzled up and whatever. Maybe go out on the town. It was your excuse. Football was your excuse. And people said, I don't remember the game because by the time the game came along, I was legless.
I mean, in the 80s,
so it was just that.
When I went to game, I don't think I could remember many of them. They were that bad, and I just had so many pints. I just couldn't remember any of them really.
Well, look, guys, did you see? Ray, did you see the Twitter post that someone put up yesterday about this goal that was scored by Paul Lake, and it was just this massive
leg
goalmouth scramble, and eventually he put that through. Bernard, I can't remember, Bernard, what that game was.
Is it Blackpool away?
Right. Ray, do you remember that?
I don't remember the game. I've seen that video many times, and I think it's on what do they call it? Football limbs or something. Or they talk about the limbs because everybody's going mental, and sadly, times I tell people when I used to watch a lot of City aways when I lived in the early 90s and mid 90s, and I never saw any of that. I hardly ever saw goals.
Bernard, was that 1996 or 1997?
It was before that. It was probably. I remember when I was living in Guildford going to games, and people don't understand how much football means to other people. and I was taking home 600 quid a month. I was taking home 600 quid a month in 1990, I think it was. And I'd pay 200 quid a month on my rent. So I had 400 quid a month to live. And I'd go to a game of football in London and it would cost me more than 50 quid for the day.
Wait a minute, Ray. Wait a minute. 1990?
Yeah.
You were, because you're pretty much the same age as me. Were you not a university student at that time?
I'd just finished. That's 1990. I finished. So I finished in 1990, finished uni at Liverpool Uni, and I went down to Guildford to work as a trainee accountant. 600 quid a week in my pocket, a month, sorry, in my pocket. And I remember at the time, I had some friends up in London, and there's a guy, who's an Irish guy. He was a labourer for a construction labourer, and he was earning 900 quid a week, and I was taking home 600 quid a month as a trainee accountant. But that was
still good money at that time, wasn't it?
It wasn't. Trust me, it wasn't good money. 600 quid a month when you rent's 200 quid a month, and you know it was expensive in those days. Now people talk about it being expensive now, but it was, relatively speaking, it was still very expensive.
But Ray, could I just ask? Could I just ask both of you? But I think Bernard might know the answer. Now, Bernard, that goal that we talked about, the scrambled goal mouth melee,
yeah,
that Paul Lake eventually put in. Now, that's been a pub quiz question that I have failed to answer. I think on 3 different pub quizzes that I've been to. Bernard, can you tell me what year was that? What competition was that? What was that?
You know, I have no idea.
Was that a league game, a cup game? What was that?
It could have been a friendly, but
no, I don't.
I think it was a cup game, wasn't it?
Do you remember the year even?
86.
Was that 86? Ray, was that before Paul Lake began to get into the England squad?
Honestly, I'm trying to... The goal-mouth scramble, okay, the last minute.
I would love to know that.
I believe it was was it the FA Cup?
I think it might have been an early round of the FA Cup, but the year, I can't remember that. But I would love to know the answer to that, because we all see it on Twitter a lot, don't we? And they're showing it as a comparison between City now and City back.
Off the top of my head, 1988, 1-1 FA Cup at Blackpool.
That sounds about right, doesn't it? Well, I'm not exactly sure, but one of our listeners will give us the answer, I'm sure.
This is your answer, okay? 1-1 Blackpool. 1-1 1988.
Right.
And I think and I'll give you the report. Quick report. Blackpool were in the 3rd division. We were in the 1st division. They scored through Richard Sendall, and who was actually, he'd already been told the week before that he could leave on a free, and we scored with 10 seconds remaining of the game.
Yeah.
And that's been, I'm sure, there's been some goals that have been shown around Europe to show how poor the quality of English football has been. I think there's a QPR game as well. Was I getting City where the ball was, it's like ping ball. Let's go through some of it, because we're only 7 minutes behind now. We managed to catch up a minute. Bernard is a smart bloke. That says some crazy guy. I don't know who that is. No, that was the original gunner. Carl says Bernard is smart. One of the things we've got to do is I think between the old and the new, you've got to get the right balance. You can't just forget where you've come from. And some of that, you could argue, is like, look at the new kit, paying homage to the Hacienda and paying homage with the bees to Manchester. So there's some of that. And we will keep evolving and developing. And other people are right where the global football audience is way bigger than the 50,000 that go to the Etihad. And the club are not going to stand still. They're not, let's be honest, they're not in it for the good of the local fan, sadly. They're in it for themselves to make money and for the brand and everything else. And, you know, City doing really well is a byproduct of what they're trying to achieve. So, you know, maybe you can say we just accept that we're a great team and we're doing really well. And there'll be things that go on that we might not be happy about or not come. We're moving forwards. I'm just trying to catch up a bit, otherwise people think we're ignoring them. Treble winners, I remember going to Oldham versus City, getting absolutely soaking wet. It rained for 90 minutes. I was there, mate, and I'm sure it was leaking in the roof. I got absolutely... I think I parked too far away. A lot of people were parking illegally close to Boundary Park. And I parked across at... there's like a retail village or whatever. I forgot what it was called. It was unbelievably horrible weather. Normal, but unbelievably horrible. And we got absolutely soaked. It wasn't fun. Let's go through. I think there's been some bad language. Cole's had to slap a few people down. Yeah, Cole says he remembers that in the end with no roof. I remember during the game it's bad enough getting soaked walking to the ground, melting it down during the game. Yeah, Ray Barlow remembers the Blackpool one. Sea Dog is a no contest. There's no contest. Who's a better fan? You can never say who's a better fan. Treble winners. Yeah, everybody's talking about that game in Oldham with the rain. So treble winners is talking about that again. Mukund, it was put up by Paul Lake's missus, I think. She also put up a photo of Paul's son. Amazing birthday card. Sketch of him on a hospital bed with a surgeon standing there with a saw in his hand. Ray Ballot put a lot of messages here. City fans were everywhere in the ground that day. FA Cup 1988. This is Ray Ballot, spot on. Original Gunner is talking about today's football. Would you take Nicolas Pepe at City? There you go, guys. Do you know enough about him? Really?
He's been deadly in the French league. He scored 22 goals in the last season. Everyone's saying that he's going to go to Liverpool. He's also been linked with Arsenal. I don't see how they have the money for that. But he's a winger who scores goals for fun, and he's fast as lightning. So yeah, he is much in demand, Ray. Much in demand.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he was on. He was videoed saying that they were asking about Liverpool and Man United, and he apparently was. I wasn't paying that much attention. I was looking at I mean, even though he might have been speaking in French, I still wasn't paying attention. But he kept mentioning Man United, and he was talking about the respect they showed Cristiano Ronaldo when he went back, and so he basically was sucking up to Man United. Let's be honest, out of the two clubs, who's going to pay the most money in terms of a transfer fee and wages? Man United. So, you know, I don't know. One thing I don't understand is why Liverpool haven't bought anybody big. You know, a main player to put pressure on the you know, less than 3 weeks left before the transfer window closes. So I'm really, really surprised that they haven't done that. I'm really, really surprised that they haven't got anybody, because, you know, then don't you guys feel that they need to? Because look, we beat them last season. You know, I mean, it's a shame Chris Welch isn't here. I'll probably rub it in a bit more. But we beat them to the title. If they want to win that title, they're going to have to do something special. What do you think, Bernard? Do you think they need anybody else?
It is difficult, though, isn't it? I mean, I think all the English clubs, top English clubs, find it difficult to find the right.
It's about 6 in the morning.
There's 2 minutes past 7 in the morning.
Oh, that's not so bad. 2 minutes past 7. I hope. Look, there's still 28 people on, so you know people have really enjoyed it. I think if we do it again, maybe not for 2 hours, but it's you know, for me anyway, it's great fun having you guys on. I hope you've enjoyed it. The comments have been great. You know, everybody's loved. They've loved having Bernard on. They've loved having Mike on. They've put up with me. I think it's been a great evening. Even my wife has walked through a couple of times and not complained. Here's the positiveness and the fun that's going on, and you know, I think everybody appreciates that for you guys coming on and putting the time in tonight, and Mike working out eventually how the technology works. Yeah, I mean, Kamal says, "Cheers, guys, great live stream." Carl H says, "Thanks, bye all. Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Bernard. Take care, all."
Cheers, guys. Cheers, all.
Yeah, Kaz says, what does Kaz? Oh, we've got so many thanks here. Thanks, guys. Cobby, fantastic. If we can have more game discussions when the season starts. Carl Omatsola, nice work. Ray, well, it's nice work for everybody. Everybody's contributed. I mean, it just keeps going. Muck on. Cheers, guys. Great stream. Bye, Mike, Bernard, Ray. Bye, all. Take care. Ray Ballet, enjoyed it tonight. See you later, Mike, Bernard, and Ray. Spencer, Mike, see you, boys. Well done, guys. We can't do it without you. So we can't do it without you guys contributing. We can't do it without Bernard and Mike. And we will try a bit. Otherwise, you know, Mike will have big bags under his eye. Bernard will have big bags because we can spend so long. I've already got big bags, so it makes no difference to me. But we'll try and spread it around a little bit. Yeah. But guys, love you all. It's been great. I need some kip because I worked out the other day. I had 7 hours over the weekend, and it's not enough really in 2 days. So Mukund said, "Can we get Natalie on the stream?" Sadly, Mukund, I think her contractual responsibilities will not allow her to come on the stream. Treble winners. We'll finish off with this question. Any news on City Strong on Wednesday? What channel is it showing? It'll probably be on Sky. I think they're all on Sky. I think it's 1 o'clock. It was Kitchi, who are the Hong Kong champions at the Hong Kong Stadium, and I should have some footage because I've been in touch with the Hong Kong Blues a long time ago for this game. Several weeks ago, we were talking about getting some video footage for this. So, guys, take it easy. Have a good evening. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good sleep tight.
Sleep tight. Thanks, Bernard. Thanks, Mike.
These are your friends.